Okay. All right. I'm Jack. I am here with my first female to ever be on my podcast, and I'm excited about it. We are out in the woods. We're burning some Palo Santo to try and keep the bugs away while we do this. And so this is Megan.
Hi.
I have been wanting to get her on here, but I wasn't sure whether it should be an interview or just a conversation. But let us know who you are. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a town called Upland, which is in Southern California. It's about an hour east of Los Angeles. Beautiful, quaint little town. Yeah,
Okay.
nothing. I mean, it's a typical suburb. It was on the base of Mount Baldy, and I grew up in a very normal middle class neighborhood with middle class parents.
Soccer player?
Yes, I played soccer um, from kindergarten all the way up through high school until I went away to college.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to college at NYU in New York. And yeah, I moved away when I was 18 and thought I'd be gone for 4 years, and I ended up staying in New York for 15 years before I finally came back home.
Okay. Did you studied somewhere else too? Did you
I
go
did.
abroad?
I did. I studied abroad in Madrid for 6 months when it was my junior year of college. So my second semester of my junior year, I studied in Madrid and then was able to travel all over Europe, which was amazing. It was a really amazing experience.
Do you do you recall I guess what your situation was right before you met me
Yes.
in life, good or bad?
Um yeah, I mean, I think that before I got in a relationship with you, I was in a very unhealthy relationship for a long time, for about 4.5 years. And my oh god, my dad was also I didn't think this was gonna be that hard. My dad was also he had just died um a few months before we met. He had brain cancer. Um and I was here for it. I was here to help him through that and to be with him in his final um couple of years and months, and I really up until he was no longer with us. I was with him when he finally passed on. And I was in not a great place when I moved back to California. I think, I mean, now it's very different, like when I talk about it now, but I think if you would ask me my mental state or my state of being, when I first moved back, I would say I was broken, or you know, I was really going through it. And with my dad declining in health, it led to me getting into therapy myself, and it kind of coincided with the decline of my relationship as well. And I remember going into therapy in June and saying, I'm going to give myself 1 year. I'm going to make a commitment to myself to see this through once a week for 1 year. And it
Did that specifically mean no relationships, or just you're gonna just focus on yourself for one
I
year?
just wanted to focus on I wanted to first, I think, and foremost, I wanted to get myself out of that relationship. It was um like I said, it was a
Unhealthy?
very unhealthy, I think, toxic, if you will, relationship. And it was on and off for, like I said, 4.5 years, and I just couldn't seem to stay away. Like we'd break up and then we'd get back together, and there was this whole, I mean, I'm not in recovery. I've never struggled with substance abuse or, um, but this had, and I don't even want to say that because I don't want to try to compare, but
I had a toxic relationship with drugs for
yeah,
sure. I
I mean,
always went back.
it was a hard, I for whatever reason, I just could not stay away. I would get myself back in the same situation, in the same scenarios, and then a few months down the road be like, oh my god, and this agony and pain, and you're so stupid, and why are you doing this? And um there was definitely a lot of like self-loathing involved. um so yeah, I think that getting into therapy, I think my first and like the most important thing was like I needed help to get out of the situation that I was in. And I didn't feel like I could do it on my own because I had tried that so many times. And and I was just tired. I remember just being really tired of feeling that way. And I think that I think I used to have this like gusto for life. Like I loved living life. I loved going on adventures. I had great friendships. I had an amazing family, and all of those things were kind of suffering. Um, and I don't want to blame it on that person. Like I don't think it, it wasn't one thing. It was a combination of things, but therapy was what got me to start loving myself. And I think that once I started to really love myself unconditionally, everything else kind of came back into my life. The confidence came back in my life. And I was able to finally say, like, I don't deserve this, or I deserve better. I want better. I know I'm deserving of that. And that coupled with my dad, um, like I said, declining, I think those two things really just made me see how short life is, and just made me realize like I don't want to get to the end of my life thinking what if, or wishing that I had done something different. And so I was able to get myself out of that situation and close that door and really finally move on. And it's kind of miraculous because when I did, it was like you came into my life pretty quickly right after that.
So you're in. So you're in therapy. You had been in therapy for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, so I started therapy in June.
you see a picture of a guy with a shirt that
Yes.
says trash, and you
Yeah,
thought that's the one.
so I had never, I was formerly married, so I had never online dated, or whatever, through the apps, I guess. That was like a whole new concept to me. And I got on Hinge, and I went on, and I didn't really like it, but I went on one date and it was terrible. And then I remember being like, screw this, like I don't want to do this. And my best friend Cam was like, no, you have to give it one more chance. And then I came across this guy's profile, and I was like, God, he's so hot.
But
But then my brain was like, that's bad, probably.
yeah.
There's no way that somebody this good looking can be, a good person. And I'm not doing that again. Um, you know, and then there was this feature where you could do a voice note, and the voice note, I'll never forget. The prompt was, sorry, there's bugs everywhere.
Yeah, there is.
Um,
I'm trying.
the prompt was, all I ask, and his response, Jack's response was, all I ask is that you're willing to be open and honest and vulnerable, because that's really the only way that you can connect and grow. And I just remember like, holy shit. Like there's no way that did that guy just did that come out of this guy's mouth? And I don't know, just I've always said that I love your voice. There's something very soothing about it. And I think, yeah, it got me. So I reached out.
Yeah, it was. I remember it.
Yes, I sent you a thing first,
Yeah,
like two first.
I mean, yeah, and then you were like, I don't know if we should really go on a date. So you can't.
Well,
You have to take credit
okay,
for
I
both.
know, but okay, but the reason I was hesitant was because I asked you, how recently are you divorced? And you said
6 months.
6 months. You've been separated for 6 months. And I was just like, oh shit. And I just remember, and again, I remember saying, I'm not trying to project like my experience onto you, but I remember where I was 6 months after my divorce. And yes, I was dating, but I really should not I was not in a place where I should have been dating. But, again,
Yeah,
that was my experience.
yeah, yeah. I
And so
remember
we
you
went on a date.
saying. Yeah, I remember you saying something to the effect of, "You." I think you asked me what my intention was. Like, what are you looking
Oh,
for? And I
I
was like,
asked, yeah, I was
I
like,
said, I have no idea.
yeah, I was like, are you just looking to have a good time? Because if you are, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you should go out and like meet a lot of people and, I don't know, whatever, sow your oats.
Yeah,
But I'm not in that place. Like, I was looking for something. I was looking for a partnership and a relationship. And I was like putting everything out into the universe that, like, I'm ready for my person. And like, I don't know what he looks like or what he does for a living, but like, I'm ready. I'm ready to like find my person and, and yeah. And that was you.
and we went on our first date.
We went on our first date. I got him to play hooky and he came to Venice Beach. And yeah, it was a 22-hour first date. It was
Was
pretty good.
the best first date I've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you think after? What did you think after? What did you think from profile to real life?
Well, it was a lot. Our first date was intense. Well, I don't know if I would say it was intense, but it went real deep real quick, like immediately. And so I remember,
Emotionally, not like
no, of
yeah.
course, emotionally. Nothing really happened.
No, I put everything on the table to
Yeah.
give you a fair
I
shot.
mean, we met for coffee and I one of the first questions I asked him was, "Oh, I saw on your profile that you don't drink. Are you so, are you sober?" Something along the lines. And you said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, well, are you okay with people drinking in front of you?" Because for me,
You were working. You were a
I was a
bar.
bar
Yeah,
director.
at
So
the
what
time.
that means is I worked at a restaurant and I did all of the cocktail curation for the restaurant and ordering of the spirits and all of that stuff. And I, was just got my certification to be a sommelier. So although I wouldn't say, sorry, I keep hitting this. Although I wouldn't say I'm like a heavy drinker, alcohol and wine, and it is in my life. Um, and again, I don't have a, you know, negative relationship with
Oh no.
alcohol. I can drink socially or have a glass of wine or whatnot. But, at that time it was also in my work. So I wanted to know that that was okay. Um, because like I said, I knew what I was looking for and I wasn't wanting to waste.
And what did I say to that question?
You said, no, alcohol was never my thing. I was a heroin addict.
Yeah.
And I just, I think it just, yeah, it was a lot. It took me, um, by surprise. Like it was like, whoa. And I've said this a lot. Like, I don't think I ever considered myself like a sheltered person growing up.
Yeah.
But like after meeting and getting to know Jack, I'm just like, shit. Like, I guess I'm very fortunate. I'd like
Yeah.
to think that I'm very, very fortunate that I didn't have people close to me in life that I saw at least up and close and personal. Like maybe like of course I had, a friend here or there that I oh, they went to rehab, but I didn't like fully understand or fully, and even now I know I didn't have anybody in my life that was, in recovery um, for heroin nonetheless.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave you a lot of information.
Um, but we both, I mean, I wasn't coming into the relationship like this, like perfect, innocent. I had my own,
Yeah, nobody does.
things. And I think what I loved so much is that we both just really put it out there.
Do you feel that we do you feel that we had the same goals inside of a relationship as far as
Yes.
communication and
Yes.
honesty?
Yeah. I mean, I think that all of our values are the same. I think that family is like the most important thing to both of us. And that's really nice because I think that even though you had your situation going on and I had my own stuff, but like family is everything. And I very much grew up in a family that, like, my mother would always put that in us. She ingrained that, into us. And I was very lucky that my dad and I were super close my whole life. And I would always say that, like, even though he was like a blue collar, like salt of the earth, like just like your stereotypical dude, like he loved sports and the whole thing, but like he always told my sister and I he loved us. Like he was always very affectionate and loving and protective of us. Um, and yeah, I knew that like that's what like I want that. I want to. I also my parents didn't, they divorced when I was in my 30s actually. Um, but I remember like wanting more than what they had because in the end they just didn't know how to communicate and they would fight, and I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to like communicate how I'm feeling and have my partner communicate how they're feeling. And like I think that's what I love most about us is it's tough sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's not like we're like just having these like, you know,
Oh no, it's not.
super difficult conversations and like thinking it's super easy. It's not. It's hard. It's hard to talk about the hard stuff, but like I
Yeah.
think the fact that like we're both just willing to do that and be honest and compassionate with how the other person's like, feeling, like I don't know, I just feel like that's like it's so nice and I've never had that before.
Yeah, I had not either until now. I'm trying to think of a yeah, I mean, yeah, we have some hard conversations and sometimes there's tears. It's not like us calling each other names and someone's
No,
crying
of
because
course.
no, but sometimes I mean
But I've been in that
emotions,
relationship,
right?
right? I've been in that relationship where it's like just
Yeah, no, I get it.
terrible. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
not this,
not this.
but it's yeah, no, it's hard. I mean, relationships are tough. I feel like
Yeah,
we do a pretty good job.
yeah, I do too.
Um, so pretty early on, what was it? 3 months. It was a couple weeks in, and you said, "Hey, you want to come to Mexico with me for a wedding?"
Yeah, so okay, so we started dating in April and my best friend was getting married in Mexico in June. And I never even thought that like it would be an option because I love my best friend. Her name is Whitney. But like literally I remember like thinking there's no way I'm getting a unless you're like married or you've been in a relationship for a very long time, like Whitney's not just going to invite anybody to her wedding. Rightfully so.
Yeah,
But I remember talking to her and like I was like I met somebody and like I don't know, she just was so happy to hear me just like so happy. And she said, like, I think you should, if you want to invite Jack, I think you should invite Jack. And I was just like, are you serious? And I just thought, like, fuck it. Who's not gonna have a good time in Mexico at a
Yeah.
wedding? Like, um, yeah. And so you got to come,
You got to meet
and he got
everybody.
to meet all my friends, which was like again, it was a big deal for me because all of my friends, I mean, they've known me for a long time. We all went to grad school together. They're some of my close, I mean, they are my closest outside of Cam,
One of
who
them's
came,
Bobby, who I
yeah,
interviewed on. Yeah. Yeah.
who came a little bit later, but they all like are my best friends, and they saw me go through all the chapters, right? The good and the bad, grad school, and they came to my wedding, and then the divorce, and then the subsequent, relationship that was really not good for me. And so they saw me go through all of that. And I think, the idea of meeting some other guy, no offense, like at the time,
Yeah.
they were just so happy to see me happy. And like, I remember Dan saying to me, like, I just haven't seen you like this in so many years. Like, you seem like yourself again.
Yeah. Everybody was super nice to me.
Yeah.
Which, it was a big, I didn't know anybody.
Yeah, I
Hardly
know.
knew you, you know?
Yeah.
It was, but that trip was awesome. It was so cool.
But it like made me fall. I don't know if I was in love. I mean, it made me fall for you even more because it's just like I can insert him into any situation, and he just is so genuine, and like
high school reunion.
high school reunion, and like family. It just, I don't know. Everybody that I introduce you to loves you because you're an amazing human being.
I mean,
And like even now, like people will ask me, like, oh, your partner, like I'll show them a picture, and they're like, oh my God, he's so hot. And I'm like, I know, but like honestly, he's even more kind and humble and like compassionate than he is good looking. And
means a
that's
lot.
what I love about you.
I'll take that. Yeah,
Yeah.
my looks. I mean,
The blue
that
eyes
has
are
to do
like,
with my mom. That
I
doesn't have
know.
anything
The
to do
blue
with me.
eyes are what got me, but like everything else, like the internal part, that's what really like.
You tell me my swollen ankles weren't a big turn on anything?
Do they know? Have you ever
No,
talked about that?
no. So when we were first, no, when I first started dating Meg, I was trying to put on weight, and I was drinking these weight gainer slash protein shakes, and each one was 1,300. Each shake was 1,300 calories with 255 grams of carbs, and I was drinking 3 a day with
No, you
whole
were
milk.
drinking like 5 a day.
Well, at least 3 a day
Okay, but
with whole
five
milk.
like mass gainer,
Yeah,
whatever it's called, shakes with whole milk.
yeah. So
Like,
my skin broke up real bad. My ankles, I looked like a pregnant lady. My ankles were all swollen. I was like, Megs, there's something wrong with my ankles.
but he
And
also wasn't like eating nor like he would just have these shakes.
yeah,
And like I love you so much, but one thing about Jack is like sometimes he doesn't know how to like take care of himself too well. So like for example, he was living in Riverside, I live in Venice, and he would drive out to visit me, and he'd wake up early in the morning, and he would get straight in the car, and he'd come visit me, and by the time he got there he'd just be like, I'm so hungry. And I'd be like, are you okay? And I'd be like, well, what did you eat? He'd be like, nothing, I just had my shake. And I'm just like, there's a grocery store at the top of the street, there's a bunch of stuff down the street from me.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm not. I've never, throughout this whole podcast, I've never claimed to be the smartest guy on YouTube. I just claim to be honest, and I take accountability for my mistakes.
Yeah.
And yes,
No, they're not mistakes, babe. I mean,
most people remember to feed themselves, but I went a
yeah.
long time not worrying about food
Yeah.
for years. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah. Or he'll be like,
and
I'd
I'd
eaten out of the
secretly probably hope
garbage.
that
Like,
you were gonna feed me something. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I'm not, I love you, but I'm also not like,
My mom.
yes.
I
I'm
mean,
not like I'm nurturing in my own way, but I'm not gonna coddle
yeah,
my
no,
partner.
I know. It's because it's like that's the manager in you. That's your
Yeah.
professional life,
I mean,
and you're type A,
yeah,
just like
I'm very type A.
yeah, Yeah, so you're
But like
whatever you need, you're gonna do it. So
but
you
I love
assume.
cooking. Like I love feeding you. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, no,
If
we
it's
cook
like,
together all
oh,
the
let's
time.
make like a nice dinner together. But if it's like you just I don't know, like not like,
Just show up famished.
or like your son, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I will feed him
because he can't feed
because he can't
himself. Yeah,
feed himself.
yeah. That's why I feed him too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think are some of your favorite things about our relationship?
Um, sorry, I have a fuzz or something.
Well, we've talked about things like, you know what I mean. We sometimes we would do those
No,
questions and
I think our communication is 100% probably the thing I value the most because I feel like without having strong communication, I don't know, I just feel like that's kind of like the gatekeeper to everything else. Like
yeah,
if you have strong communication skills, then everything else will fall into place, or you can just accept that you have different opinions or outlooks on certain things. You know what I mean? But I think that being able to communicate how we're feeling, and also I love that when we do communicate we always validate the other person. So we'll say something like, what you're feeling is valid, but I need you to understand that, you know, your behavior or your actions or whatever it is making me feel this way. And it's possible to have both of those things happening at the same time,
yeah.
but it allows us to see things from the other person's perspective.
I
And
remember early on, I don't even remember what it was about, but we were at your apartment and we were having a conversation that wasn't going smoothly, and I wanted to finish it,
oh,
and you were like,
yeah,
"I need to go for a walk. I'm going to take the dog for a walk."
yeah,
And I, to me, it was like, "What do you mean?"
yeah,
Like at the time, I was like, "Damn, she's just going to abandon this conversation." I
yeah,
didn't, but upon further inspection, I didn't realize that that you were able to identify, I'm feeling a certain type of way.
yeah.
I could stand here and continue talking, but you're not going to like it.
It's not going to end good.
Yeah.
It's
And
not going to end well
yeah,
for either of us.
right. I had
But that
never
was, I
been
think,
with someone who recognized, okay, I'm feeling triggered. I'm going to step back so that you don't,
yeah.
But I remember in my head, I was like, what do you mean you fucking walking away?
You were upset. You were very, I mean, not like upset and I were like, but like you were hurt. You were hurt because you felt like I was abandoning the conversation. And again, in that moment, I wasn't like, this is why I'm going to go do this. I was just like, I need to take a break. Like I need to go take Frankie for a walk and
Yeah.
like cool off. And when I did that, I was able to come back and say, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that about myself because again, like I've been in therapy for over 3 years now. And, and I've always been this way. I mean, and why am I the way that I am? I don't know, but I know that like there's certain triggers that happen in my body that I can feel when like my heart starts pumping and I'm getting hot in the
Yeah.
face and
Flush.
like
Yeah.
and I'm getting tight in the throat. It's just like I know that if the conversation continues, I'm going to reach a point where I stop being rational and I say something that's meant
To
to
sting.
hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, to wound,
Yeah.
and that's not nice, and I don't want them to do that, and you don't deserve that. And so I have to take a breather, whether that's walking the dog or taking a shower or whatever it is, so that I can come back and say, okay, this is this is how I was feeling, and this is
Yeah. I remember early on, um, uh, I don't remember verbatim. I just remember early on there was something happened where you might have gotten a little angry or loud, and I didn't. And then you were like, either later that night or the next day, you were like,
yeah.
you're kind of a jerk for not getting like yelling
I
back
didn't
at me.
say that.
No, but you
I
were like,
didn't
it
say
made
you're
me
kind
feel.
of a jerk.
No, you're like, it made me feel like shit.
It made me feel worse, because I was out. Whatever I snapped at you, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like crazy.
No, but like again, and not to get, whatever, like whether it's how I grew up, and watching my parents fight, but it was like I snapped at you and I was expecting you to snap back, and I was expecting it to escalate and escalate into until it like explodes, and then from there, you know what I mean? That's the conditioning of arguments that I was
Yeah,
exposed to
and
and
this
and
was
and,
early
and, and
on.
part of, I guess.
Yeah.
And so when you just got really like sad, and it just made me feel even worse because I'm just like, I'm such a fucking asshole. and and I just, yeah, and I think there's like a punishment aspect. I don't know, like I wanted you to, because then at least we're both assholes, but you
We're both assholes.
refuse to like, but you don't, you're not that person,
No.
and you weren't going to, and it became clear early on that like you weren't going to engage with me in that way. and and again, even though I was doing all the therapy and all this stuff, it's like I'm not perfect, right? Like I'm gonna have moments where like I do just fucking snap, but like the difference is my partner is not going to engage. Like you're not going to continue to escalate the situation.
Yeah, no,
Like
I
your
can absorb
behavior
it.
just completely, yeah, like you absorb it, like you absorb this like shockwave, and it's just, and then it's just stillness, and it, because it doesn't like reverberate back to me, it's just like, and again, not that I'm like wanting to have a fight, but like in that subconscious part of me, it's like when you don't respond, I'm like, well, what am I gonna do with this? There's no now I can't like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like improv, the and
Yeah.
rule, like you
Yeah.
can't like improv
Yes
without like
and.
yes and,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not yesing, you're just like no, and then you're just like, well shit, like now what?
Yeah. No, but I think you need I don't know. I
Yeah,
think you need that. I think it's good for you.
yeah, no, it is good for me, it's amazing. And I think that, and again, those moments that I've felt that kind of anger, I guess, are so few and far between,
Oh
because
yeah.
like 99% of the time we have these like conversations that are really productive. But yeah, again, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, oh, I'm in therapy and like just life is
But I mean
like
life is great. But we
life
choose
is
to see
great.
it that way. I mean shit, things are tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. Having to decide what bill you're gonna pay. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's not life's not easy. Doesn't mean it's not beautiful.
No, but it's. I mean, it is beautiful. I think like,
And you know that we
I mean,
can
we
get through it.
meditated today.
Yeah.
We meditated on the beach today.
Yeah. We're in Big Sur.
Yes,
Yeah. So we hiked to it was this
and
really
Andrew
cool.
Malera State Park.
Yeah, it was like this really cool. When I was a kid, I used to make these sand art things with different colored sand, and then you'd poke a stick in and like mesh them together. And the beach was like that.
Yeah,
Like the beach.
it was like purple
Yeah,
marbled
yeah. It was like
sand.
purpley black, but then when the water would come in,
Yeah,
it would bring a tan sand, and then so when it would wash out, the purple and the black were like marbled with the tan. It was really really cool. And so we sat on some driftwood,
yeah,
meditated for 5 minutes, and it was really cool because the waves were bringing out these rocks. So that
yeah.
was,
You could hear it. Like
yeah,
it was just, it was really relaxing and it was
rocks
really
dragging
peaceful.
along rocks from the waves sounded really. It was just really nice. I thought it was wonderful.
It was really nice, but I think
I didn't like the drive.
no, Jack doesn't like heights, and we took the one. Well, that was the second part of the day. We went down to Julia Pfeiffer State Park to see the waterfall,
Yeah,
and the drive down.
I didn't. It wasn't. I
It's
didn't.
a little windy, and
On a
Jack is afraid
cliff.
of
It's on
heights.
a cliff. It's not just windy. I
We
mean,
were
it's.
going like 30 miles, and
I
I
know,
know,
but
babe.
like 8 inches
I
to my
know,
right
I
is
know.
like certain death. Certain death. So yeah. So I don't like heights. You know, everybody's got their thing.
Yeah,
Um, I'm trying to think of. Do you still have your Apple Watch on? Do you know what time it is?
I
Just so that we
do.
don't miss dinner.
It's 5:37,
Okay.
so we have a little bit of time.
What do you think? What do you think are some of the most useful ways that we approach each other? I mean, I feel like what you were saying earlier is, life isn't perfect, but I feel like we're good at trying to, or mostly you're good at trying to address things before they become an issue.
Yeah.
Like, hey, 2 months from now, if
Yes.
this is still the situation,
Yes.
I'm going to be upset.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think that's a big deal.
I mean, I think that
And see, that's why I think we work together. You're a very planner,
yes,
and I'm like, you know,
it's
okay, cool.
amazing.
But right now, let's do this. And they're like, okay, but don't forget, in 2 months,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, no, no,
Jack
no,
is
yeah.
like super easygoing, go with the flow. It's great. I am like type A
Spreadsheets,
routine,
baby,
spreadsheets,
SOPs.
SOPs,
Yeah,
standard operating procedures.
yeah,
But I just like I like planning because I don't know, like this trip, like I think I like it's also I think a way that I show my love and care for somebody.
yeah.
Like I do
All
like
the
to
time and
it's his
planning.
40th birthday tomorrow. Huge birthday. And I think that I like to give experiences more so than gifts, although I do both.
Yeah, you do.
But I think that experiences just have such a lasting impact, and like your memory of them will always be amazing.
Yeah,
And so I like to know. I want to, if we're going to, and I think it's just who I am. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it all the way. I'm going to, like, I'm never going to settle for less than the best. And that can change. You know what I mean? If I'm eating fast food, it's In and Out or Chick-fil-A. It's
yeah,
still the best of what
yeah,
it is. It might not be, or if I'm going to get street tacos, they're going to be the best street tacos.
yeah.
Or I can go out and spend however much money on like a really nice steak. But
At
again,
Penguini's.
oh no. um, but I took, it takes a lot of time to plan certain things,
Yeah,
but I think that it's one of the ways that I don't know, I show my love is like
yeah. Research and
I
time
want
that you
to
put.
like
Yeah,
if I want to I've never been here either. I've never been to Big Sur. And I wanted to take us somewhere that neither of us have really ever been. So it was a first for both of us. And it's a 40th birthday, so that's a big birthday. But yeah, I want it to be remarkable. Like I want it to be something that we'll remember for the rest of our lives and like tell our children about and like,
yeah. Or bring them. Yeah,
yeah, and I don't know where that comes from. Like I don't know,
just your value system.
but I don't even remember how we got on this topic. But oh, that you're very easygoing and I'm a planner.
Yeah,
So 99% of the time it works out well because it's this yin and yang relationship.
yeah,
But there are times where, it's challenging because it's hard not to like compare, right? Like, and I think and that's where I think sometimes I get frustrated because I'll say, well, if that was me, if I was in that position, this is what I would do. I'd immediately do X, Y, and Z because I'm a planner and I map it all out. And and you're not. And like and that's who you are. And that's something that like I do accept about you. And it's not something like I try to change, but like I think there are moments when I don't know, we'll see what happens. Or like, there's only so long that can go on before I start feeling a strain. And then the conversation is, okay, I know, but when? Like how long until I get support,
yeah,
or I get to take a break,
yeah, yeah. And those
so to speak.
conversations are hard, but we
Yeah,
have them.
but we have them.
What other option is there?
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
have them and grow apart.
yeah. And I think because we both were married before and it didn't work out, I don't know. I just feel like I have this second chance at life. And I know that sounds so stupid, probably, but like, I mean, divorces are really hard
Mm-hmm.
and like they change you. And mine was not easy. And I went through and it's really kind of crazy because I really feel like the divorce was just like that tipping point to like the years after were really hard and dark for me.
Yeah.
The divorce wasn't my rock bottom, if you will. It was just that was just like the
That
first,
opens the
that was
door
just
to
the
hell.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think that yeah, emotionally, psychologically, I was in such a dark place for so long that like when you came into my life and like when we, you know, it was just like I just feel so blessed and I have so much gratitude. And I really think that and you've asked me this before, my whole outlook on marriage and relationships has changed since I was married and divorced.
Yeah, mine too.
I mean, like, and I don't, you know, it's like it's a choice that you make, and you have to make that choice every single day. And we're not married, but like, I want us to be.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
I want, you know, like,
Yeah.
there's no, it's nice because there's no, I think when I was, you know, I think a lot of women when they're younger, there's this pressure to like get married before you're in your 30s, or I don't know, that sounds so silly, but like, you didn't want to end up
An
alone.
old maid.
Yeah, like a spinster.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that I got,
It's
you
just a
know, and
society thing.
yeah, my ex-husband's he's an amazing human being.
Yeah.
And he was a wonderful person. And I'm so happy that he's happy and, you know, it's all good there.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, it's like you're in that, it's like there's something you're constantly looking forward to. It's like that expression where it's like the carrot keeps going in front of you with like you know, it's like the donkey chasing the carrot.
Yeah, I think it's a horse chasing a carrot. But yeah, yeah. Donkey. Yeah. 4 legs. It's the same thing. Yeah, yeah. Continue.
But like, you know, it was like I think for me at least, I was always, and again, because I'm type A, I think I always did what I was expected to do and the right thing to do. And so it was like work hard so you can get into a good college. And then it's like you go to a good college so you can get a good job. And then you get a good job so you can like meet a nice successful person. And then you like, you know, you meet a nice successful person from a good family, and then you get married. And then
Yeah, you buy a house and you have kids.
and then after that it just, yeah, but the kids thing, I, you know, I don't know if it was I was not ready for them, but like, or maybe I just didn't want to have them with him.
Oh, I thought you were just saying a
But that, I mean,
generic
that's what
story.
it is. But that's the generic story. But what happened for me and my ex-husband is we got married and then it all just kind of stopped because, you know, again, like I don't know if I didn't want to have kids, at least not then. And like, I don't know if it was a biological thing, like my clock just hadn't really started ticking yet or whatever it was, but like it just kind of stopped. And then we didn't communicate. And so all of those issues that had been there for 7 years, but we had never communicated about, all of a sudden it was just like, oh shit. And it didn't end well.
Yeah. Well, it ended.
It ended.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
ended.
Yeah.
Well, I should say it did end well for both of us. I think that.
I think today you're both happy, which is.
Oh yeah.
You know. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember being in Mexico. Everybody had great things to say about him.
Yeah, he's a good human being.
Yeah.
He is a good human being.
Yeah, I love your friends. Your friends are awesome. I hope I get to go see Cooper when we.
Yeah.
You know.
I want us to go.
Is there anything that you can think? Is there anything on your mind that you would like to ask me? My favorite color is blue.
I know that. It's hard. I mean, I didn't have anything prepared.
Yeah, this was impromptu.
This is hard for me because I didn't get a chance to prepare.
Yeah, that's so bad.
So if I had time to prepare, I would have thought of like some really poignant questions to ask.
No,
you.
We'll do this again. I just wanted to.
Okay. You're turning 40 tomorrow. What do you hope the next decade brings you?
The next decade?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly?
Yeah.
The next decade, so I'd be 50.
You're like, I don't know.
No, I mean, I would like to somehow So I'll go inside out. This is what we're doing. So I would like to somehow make this, turn this into, just from like a passion project into what I do.
Yeah.
I would like to do that. I wish this could be my thing that I do as a career, helping people, creating things like that. I would like to, my mind is like buy a house, but not that does. I would like to. I would like for us to pick out our own place. I moved into your place. It was you moved into Cam's place. Now I moved into your place. It's not like a place that we sought out. And
I get that. I mean, yes, I would love for us to have a home with like a. Don't get me wrong, I love our apartment, but I would
even
love
if
to
we
have
rented a home,
we have like a yard and like central AC.
Yeah. So I would like to. Yeah. So I'd like to turn this into. I would like to evolve this into what I could do to earn a living somehow, whatever that might look like. I would like to, find a place for us to live that we both would like to be with Jack as well. I would hope that I would plan on in the next 10 years being married to you.
Yeah.
Hopefully we could have a child or, twins or something. I would like to, I would like to go to at least one new place a year that we haven't been, at least one. If I'm always cool going back to places like Lisbon or, but I would like to at least, because that would be 10 new places in the next 10 years. I'd like to,
I will say, Jack didn't have a passport before I met him.
Correct.
And I feel like I love that. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. I just like, I love that like, it's something that I love so much is traveling. And I love that I have a partner now who like also loves those same things.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a beach vacation where we don't do anything except for lay out, or like an adventure like this where we're hiking, or a city vacation,
Yeah. It's also,
wonderful.
it's easy to like, because you plan them out. It's like we go to Spain and you're like, hey, we have dinner reservations already at this place. It's like, how does that work? But it's, I think traveling with you is the best. I've traveled before.
I didn't mean like you didn't travel.
No, but I didn't really enjoy traveling before. I've gone a couple places that I liked early, but also, I'm just more mature and I'm able to be present, and I'm not worried about, man, if I go on vacation, do I have enough drugs to last the whole time? And it's very different, I have the luxury of being able to enjoy myself. That's another reason why I really enjoy being present, because it's like I didn't have that for a long time, But yeah, in the next 10 years, I hope all those things happen. I would love to somehow, I don't know, those are all of the things that I could think. I'd like to have a new truck. Those are all the things that I could think of. But I would really love it if this and this would work. Family, and if I could somehow turn this into something that changes people's lives, or allows other people to change other people's lives here, or I don't know, but I think it's possible.
It's possible. Like, I think you're gonna do it. Like, I really do believe that, babe.
People have been very kind and supportive.
They've been amazing.
Yeah.
Because you're amazing, and like, I'm just so happy that like you have this as an outlet, that you're like building this community, and like, I just think that it's going to happen. It already is.
Yeah, we're in the process. There's, 4,000 people have decided they want to come hang out, so it's a big deal. But I think I should crack that Red Bull, and I think we should get ready to go have burgers. Yeah. Okay. But thank you for letting me sit you down and introduce you to the people. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to do that, and I love you.
I love you too.
All right.
Wait, give me a kiss.
Oh, on camera?
Yeah. He's mine.
Yes, I am.